We can thank the AUKUS nuclear sub-deal for bringing NCIS to Australia. Welcome to Dream USA 24, my channel. There appeared to be a lot of excitement when the well-known American program revealed it was coming to Australia, but it functioned somehow. According to Todd Lassens, who portrays Australian Federal Police Agent Sergeant Jim J.D. Dempsey, who is called in to look into the sailor's death, that is what the show is basing itself on. The drawback: NCIS also has jurisdiction over the probe because the sailor was a citizen of the United States. Olivia Swan, as Michelle Mackey, the NCIS special agent, enters the picture. Swan describes the woman as a very straightforward woman who is here to get a job done. She is here to carry out her own plans and adhere to her own set of guidelines. It is therefore not her ideal working environment to team up with these laid-back, larrikin Aussies. It will be the first Australian TV series to launch on US primetime when it debuts in the US later this month, 1 week after its Australian premiere. Most of those questions have a yes response. The opening credits feature the Harbour Bridge. Bondi is visited. It'd be twice as good if it had half the wankers. And although no shrimps were harmed, they do visit Sydney's inner west and make a point of explaining that our 23rd Prime Minister once held a world record for sculling beer. All of these elements indicate that NCIS is already active in Australia. Who knows how the Americans will interpret that? But what's the deal? It is effective, I promise. It has an incredibly distinct Australian accent and is quick and light on its feet. It's reminiscent of the police action dramas we used to produce. The viewer comes for the crime, but stays for the people and chemistry, says Lassens. Yes, it's still a little ridiculous that the AFP would work with the NCIS team and that AUKUS would be the catalyst, but let's go with it, Lassens says. And for our series, that is absolutely true. Thank you, please share my video. China may benefit from the labor problems in the AUKUS. Although it is unlikely that the Chinese will bring up AUKUS during Albanese's visit this weekend, they will not be offended by the financing issues with the security accord. The latter can be readily disproved despite being rendered in a delightfully ludicrous manner. Following Albanese to Washington, D.C. was Wang Yi, China's foreign minister, who met with Joe Biden and other administration officials for about 10 hours. Therefore, Washington and Tokyo will be getting ready for their own meetings as they lord it over Albanese in China. The only distinction is that Australia's relationship with Beijing has deteriorated more quickly than that of our partners, meaning that the recovery will be more difficult. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. If Australia is not seen as Washington's handmaiden, it can be a better and more useful ally in the area. If that's all we're perceived as, why would neighboring nations even try to communicate with us? Prior to Albanese's journey, there were rumors that Liu Jianchao, the head of the Chinese Communist Party's international department and a position with ministerial standing, would make an Australian visit. However, that hasn't happened. It is difficult to envision any significant announcements with geopolitical and alliance significance emerging from the visit with so few high-level contacts prearranged. Australia is okay with this because engagement is what Canberra is seeking, not big statements. Labor undoubtedly believes it has political cover for this decision because the lease was first approved in 2015 during the Canberra coalition government. That may be the true, but given the current frenzy of military expenditure in the Northern Territory, the situation increasingly appears untenable. The Chinese company will eventually need to be acquired, or the lease will need to be terminated.